Alright, welcome to the Comic Long Box Issue 1. My name is John Sanchez.
And I'm Nicole Augusto.
So, I've been reading comics since 2012. Not really that long. It's like 4 years. Like, I originally had, the first time I read a comic was 2008. Because I went to go see Dark Knight the second time, and I went with a friend. And he said, oh, you like Dark Knight a lot. You probably like this Joker story a lot. And it was The Killing Joke.
Oh, boy.
So, I was just like, this is amazing. I have to start reading comics. But that was 2008, and I started 2012. So, there's this big gap. I was always nervous jumping into comics because, how hard it is to pick a book to actually jump in. And I remember in 2011, my friend kept talking about the New 52, saying this is perfect time. Everything goes to issue 1. You'll be on running ground. I kind of forgot to ask him when it started. So I kind of missed it. I think I missed the first 8 months. Because I know the first Batman trade came out, Court of Owls, which had issues 1 through 7.
Yeah.
And that's what I started reading. I was like, oh, this is great. I wanted to continue reading more. And I just found out it was just the first 7 issues. So I was like, how far back am I? And it's like, no, issue 10 just got released. So I was like, that was the first Batman comic I ever bought, was issue 10.
Yeah, so far I've been sporadically reading comics, growing up, because my mom was really into them. But one of the things that definitely made me, a devoted, follower of comics was the New 52, also the Court of Owls. First comic book that I ever read was back in 2008 with Spider-Man. I barely remember it. It was alright. It was okay, but I definitely became really invested in DC with the Batman Year Zero series and also Wonder Woman's New 52 line.
Oh, the Brian Azzarello story. It's what a
amazing.
Story. But so I as of late I kind of been falling out of comics a little bit because I have over there, I have a huge stack of this. This is all for my pull list for the past, I want to say 5 months. I'm 5 months behind on comics. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I should stop soon. And then Rebirth happened. I was like, okay. I started off on New 52 because it was a great way to start. Let me see how Rebirth, maybe it can get me back into comics again. And that's going to be our main comic reviews, Rebirth, because when I read it, I was like, oh, this is a great thing. Maybe I can start a comic show and have a friend who can read comics with me as well. And I was like, okay, let me find a friend. I found you. And I was like, have you read Rebirth? You're like, no. Okay, I bought another. I think I bought Rebirth 3 times. I bought a digital copy for myself because I want to read it on the go. I can't just always have Rebirth in my pocket. And I want to have Rebirth itself. And then I was like, okay, I'll buy you Rebirths, and I'll you can send a gift. That's the great thing about Comixology. You can send comic books as gifts to people.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. I just need your email, and I'll send you the issue so you can start reading it.
Yeah, I was looking through the website. Comixology is I'm definitely going to be using that a lot more now because it looks really cool, and you can kind of read it on the go. And especially with the way that my laptop is, that you can just flip it over and kind of have it as a tablet.
And I like the how you can guides you to each panel. Because sometimes it took me a while to learn how to read comics because people think it's just straight. Yeah. Sometimes it weirds out.
Yeah, it gets very strange, and sometimes they just kind of do whatever with the structure.
So I like Comixology, how you just swipe and it takes you to the exact next panel. Yeah. This is where you should focus and all that. And but I still buy comics, print comics, because I like having it sometimes. Because I can't just give my phone to someone. Yeah. It's oh, you got to read this comic. Sometimes I oh, you should read this and have this issue here. You should read that. So I still love print, but I'm glad there's digital for other people another way. Because I know people don't want to have closets of long boxes of comics in there. Oh my gosh. Because right now I have 3 short boxes and 1 long box, and I'm I might start selling off my Marvel comics away because I'm more a DC guy. So, I might just sell away my Marvel comics that I got.
Yeah. There with the New 52, it definitely, inspired more of... It definitely demanded more of my attention. One comic that I really got into was Batwoman. But with everything that happened with the head writer and the head artist, it kind of left me feeling a little bitter. And since I have more of a preference for DC Comics rather than Marvel, if we have to pick between the big two, even though I love Marvel comics, they have some great heroes. Like, let's not make it seem like we're all like Team DC here.
Yeah,
but
because like I love Punisher. I love Greg Rucka's run as the Punisher books. It's one of my favorite Marvel books, and I kind of like some of the X-Men stories. I think I lean more to the past X-Men than the current ones.
Yeah.
But no, like I like both companies. I'm glad they're both doing great. But I think I lean more with DC because I like not just specific characters. I like all their characters.
Yeah, exactly. Like with Marvel, like I'm definitely leaning towards like Young Avengers and more. They have this series that's kind of has kind of more of a cult following than like a big mainstream following. They're called called the Runaways.
Oh, I know.
And they completely revamped it like 2 years ago, and they came out with the volumes, and it's so far just been a huge success. But with this, I'm actually really excited for this whole Rebirth because it seems like they're taking everything and I feel like they're listening more to their fans.
Yeah. And
they're taking what their fans want.
So the way this show I want to structure is like we start the show off with a big topic, whether it's like something that happened in an issue or maybe a writer or artist signing onto a specific book. And then I want to do like rapid comic reviews. So like Yumi will go to the comic store before we film this. We'll get the new books that are on my pull list. And we won't read it that quickly, but we'll read them and we'll give our quick review on it. And if there's something we want to delve into more, maybe next week it'll be our main comic review, because this week's main comic review is DC Universe Rebirth #1.
Oh yeah.
And then to end the show, we'll look back at a superhero film that was released previously, and we'll get to that one movie that I chose this week.
Oh yeah.
But the big thing, like I said, like I'm more of a DC guy, but this is the thing that dominated the headlines more than anything DC did, and it's Captain America: Hail Hydra. Well, what'd you feel like when you first heard that? Because when I first heard that, I was like, this is probably a joke.
Yeah, that was how I felt. When I first heard it and I saw people like putting pictures up on Twitter and on Facebook, I was like, someone's trolling. Like, someone's pulling a really elaborate joke right now. And then as time went on, then all of a sudden the news started talking about it. And I was like, wait, why? Like, and you know, like, I've only recently gotten into Captain America. I kind of, because of like how his treatment was sometimes with like, this is gonna sound so weird because they're not even like real people, but like sometimes how he would treat Spider-Man in the series and all that. Spider-Man is my all-time favorite Marvel character, and probably my all-time favorite comic book character in general. Like, just seeing how like he was this like old man was treating this kid who wanted nothing more than to like appease him and like gain like his favor, it just really ticked me off. And I like, but now that I've seen, like, I finally saw the Captain America movies this past year, like all of them back to back, and he's warming up to me, and now this happens, and I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I don't know what to think anymore. Like, this guy like punched Nazis and like hit Hitler multiple times and was like very against the things that Hydra supported.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's like, I don't know what to think. It hurts me.
Well, like, the thing I don't like about it, and like I like some aspects of it. Like, I love that it's drawing more eyes to comics, but I don't like it because, like, you know, this isn't gonna stick. And I don't think that's fair to say, because like most things that happen in comics usually don't stick anyway. Like like Joker cutting off his face.
Oh,
that didn't, like, we had like a year off of Joker, and then when he came back we saw the whole death of the family. But then like Endgame, he has his face back.
Yeah, he has his face back.
So like that really didn't stick that much. And nowadays it kind of feels like most things don't stick, like Jason Todd being back alive, Bucky coming back.
I mean, Uncle Ben stuck.
And I think that's the only thing that, like, that, and like I guess you can say like Batman kind of didn't stick with the Martin Todd, but that was Flashpoint. Yeah. It was a different universe, so that was. But like, we're talking about like main universe. Like, I feel like that death, like Uncle Ben and the Wayne's death, those things have to stick.
Yeah,
because those things are the things that shape them into becoming those heroes in the first place. You take those away, then they're not really those heroes anymore.
Much of a
drive,
a reason, and a drive to.
But like
the things they do.
Most things that happen in comics, they happen and then it gets either reversed or explained in a different way. Yeah. So like, I'm not worried that he's like Hail Hydra. Like, I'm not worried that he's a Hydra agent, because I know it's gonna get taken away, but still, like, that just takes like, it takes any like the real suspense, because you know, like, they're gonna change him.
And what would really tick me off more is if, like, oh man, this shit would piss me off. If, like, they all of a sudden at the end was like, surprise, he's a double agent. He's not Hydra, guys. Sorry, like.
But like, remember when Peter Parker had his mind switch with Doc Ock?
We don't talk about that.
No, like, when that happened, I was going like, I actually did like it, because I like Doc Ock as Spider-Man more than Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's the one thing me and Andrew would agree on. Like, yeah, we both agree on Doc Ock as Spidey, but I knew it wasn't gonna stick. And me, Ryan, and I forget who else, we had a bet saying, like, when do you think Peter Parker's gonna come back? Because you know this isn't gonna stick. And I think I said like 5-6 months, because it was like a bi-weekly, twice in a month.
Twice in a month.
And Ryan said like 7. But I'm trying to remember who was the other person. But he said, like, when's Amazing Spider-Man 2 coming out? I was like, I don't know, like in a year and a half or something. That's when he comes back. I was like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. And right when the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was coming out, Peter Parker came back.
It would have been really good if there wasn't that heavy... If the undertone of political commentary didn't become, like, the overtone. Like, because it was coming out at the same time that things with Edward Snowden and all that was coming out. So it was definitely them, like, shoving in our faces, like, this is what happens if these things happen, in a way. So, like,
I'm not gonna put Captain America, because, like, the reason why I like DC is because most of their books are like $3, and especially with Rebirth now, it looks like most of their books are gonna stay $3.
Hopefully, none of them, yeah.
Like they said, like, it's gonna be $2.99. That's it. We're not gonna push it. Hopefully, it stays like that. But the reason why I can't pick up Marvel books is, like I told you, like, Rebirth was a $2.99 book. That's an 80-page book, and there's no ads in that book. Oh, it took me a while to realize. Like, you read it digitally, but, like, the actual comic, there's no ads in that book. Maybe, like, in the first, like, behind the cover, there's an ad, and at the end, there's an ad. But there's no real ads disrupting the story flow. And that's, like, very impressive.
I like that a lot.
It was $2.99 for an 80-page, and, like, I was contemplating picking up Civil War 2, which also came out today. But it's $6 for 56 pages. So I was just like, I'll get it maybe on Comixology later down the line. But, like, I can't, like, keep dropping that much on one book.
It's like, I love you, Marvel, but you're killing my wallet right now.
Like, I'll keep up with Captain America down the line. Like, I'll, like, ask someone who's reading it, like, so what happened in this issue? Like, like, when he becomes Captain America, like, the real Captain America, that's probably going to be another big news story. So when that happens, we'll definitely talk about it.
It'll definitely most likely be, like, something that everyone's going to be talking about, not just us. But, yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, everyone's going to kind of... I have a feeling everyone's going to kind of forget about it in a couple months. Or, like, Marvel's going to be like, it was just a prank, bro. Sorry. Like, here's, like, anti-Hydra back. Like, but... I don't know. People have been getting really upset. I love comics, but a part of me is just like, calm down, everyone.
Yeah, I was upset when they killed off Damian Wayne, which is weird because I hated Damian Wayne when I first started reading comics. Like, I'm not gonna like this kid, but after, like, they killed him off like around issue 18, so like I guess 18 months. I was like, and the kid kind of warmed up to me, and when he warmed up to me, they killed him. I was like, this is I don't want this.
Yeah,
like, I kind of want him to stay. But, like, I think it was, like, 10 months later they brought him back. So, it was like, nothing really stays in comics. Usually they find a way to, like, either, like, repel it or just, like, spin it in a way where it can still happen and it adds to a future storyline. But it never really stays, like, longevity. Like, remember, like, Batman broke his back, came back.
He still came
Superman died, came back. Like... Some of these things don't really
stick. If they can bring back Gwen Stacy, then I feel like they have the free liberty to just kind of do anything at this point.
But I'm glad more people are looking at I want to know if this boosted up Captain America sales.
It did, actually. If I recall correctly, because it was on the Today Show, which surprised me.
Apparently, it was on CNN's front page, so I was like, that's drawing eyes.
Sales went up for Captain America by like a good 13%, Which sounds like a small number, but when you think about it.
A lot.
Like, in, like, money-wise, you're like, whoa. Like, they're probably... Which means with how much of a sale it's become, they're probably going to drag this out a little bit.
So, like, I want to know, like, you said, like, I want to know, like, issue 2.
Yeah.
If it stays the same number, or if it drops or goes up more. So, like, I can't wait for next month to see.
How do you beat Hail Hydra?
So, like, that's all I want to know. Like, does this make people drop Captain America as a title, or does this get more people to buy Captain America? That's going to be the big thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't wait to see what happens next month. And on to the next topic. We're just going to do rapid comic reviews. And the first thing, Batman Rebirth #1. Like, I'm a huge Batman fan, so I haven't read this yet. You read it?
Yeah, I literally just was reading it right before we started this. It definitely stays true to, like, the Batman that we know from, like, Court of Owls and Year Zero. But he's definitely, like, he's definitely aged well, like, mentally at least. I feel like this Batman definitely, because of the events of what happened in the previous comics, he's definitely carrying himself as a mentor. And meanwhile, he's kind of going through this whole stage of questioning whether or not he should quit kind of doing this, which was, you know, they bring that up a lot.
Yeah,
but this time it seems like they're definitely, like, bringing it up a lot, which is making me be like, so are we going to see a new person coming up and taking the mantle? Or overall, it was really great. I would definitely read the next one.
Okay. And that's Tom King and Scott Snyder writing it. Tom King is the one who wrote the Grayson comic.
Okay.
So, like, I really want to read Grayson because I hear nothing but good things from the Grayson comic of him being, like, a secret agent. I hear nothing but good things, so, like, I really want to read it now.
All right.
And, like, I love Scott Snyder. He's the reason why I started reading comics. So, like, he's not going to be on the main Batman title. He's going to be on All-Star Batman. And it's not going to be centered on Gotham. It's going to be, like, a road trip, I hear, of him and Two-Face.
Oh, man.
So, like, I actually can't wait to read that now. And, like, anything that Scott Snyder's writing, I usually read, regardless if it's a superhero or if it's a horror comic. Because I started reading Witches and The Wake, and he's really good.
I read Witches, and yeah, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize he was part of that.
Oh yeah,
that's a
he's really good. So, like, what would you say, like, maybe out of 5? What would you give it?
For now, I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay, and the one that I read was Green Arrow. And I love Green Arrow. Like, I like Green Arrow from Justice League Unlimited.
Okay.
That got me interested in it. And then when I heard about, like, them making a TV show, I was like, I'll get on it. And now, like, I don't watch it anymore. And comics-wise, I only loved one run, and that was, like, the Jeff Lemire run.
Yeah, that's the one that seems that everyone really, like, gives much acclaim to.
Maybe down in another episode we'll review the Jeff Lemire run, and I'll let you borrow them. Because there's some of the best art on there, too.
Alright.
So, like, it's really good. So, like, I was hesitant going into Green Arrow again. But the reason why I really want to read it now is because the writer said, like, the best Green Arrow story always has Black Canary there. So, like, they're bringing back the relationship between Green Arrow and Black Canary, because that was missing in New 52.
Yeah, when I read the Green Arrow New 52, I definitely did notice that. And I questioned it, because in the show, especially, I've only seen a few episodes of each season of the show, like, mainly because it seems to be so heavily criticized, like, in a negative light.
Now it is. I think, like, season 2 was, like, mixed.
Yeah, like,
it's either you loved it or you hated it in season 2, but now it's, like, it's really criticized because they really just don't know. I feel like they're pandering to one certain fans and just ignoring the other fans that made season 2, like, big.
Okay, yeah, because I keep having to tell myself that Green Arrow in the show is vastly different from Green Arrow in the comics. Well,
like, the great thing about this one is they brought back the one thing I really wanted, and that's the goatee.
Oh, yeah.
They brought back the goatee. Like, what's the most important thing Green Arrow has? It's the relationship with Black Canary, but also he has to have the goatee.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so, like, it feels like they're bringing everything back. I like the art in this one, too. It feels like a Green Arrow book. But, like, the story itself it's a good setup, and that's what the one-shot Rebirth should be. There should be setup, not like the actual issue 1. So it does a lot of great setup. I'll read issue 1, which comes out in 2 weeks. And like Batman issue 1 and Green Arrow issue 1 come out in 2 weeks, so we'll see the real beginning of their comic run.
Right.
So like I can't wait to see what they're doing in Green Arrow. But if I had to give it out of 5, maybe I'd give it a 3. It's something I would give to someone to start, but maybe because I'm still hang up on like the Lemire run. I wish it was still the Lemire run, but I like Green Arrow a lot. And the second book I read was, this is the one that surprised me, because I always read Superman books just to try to see what it is. So, and they usually disappoint. They don't feel like, it feels like they're trying to hamper down Superman, because it's kind of hard to write Superman. And I really love the writer on this one. They have Tomasi. He wrote what's it called, the Batman and Robin run.
Okay, yes.
So I love Peter J. Tomasi. So I went into Superman. I was like, maybe he'll be great, because he also wrote Superman and Wonder Woman, and it was hit or miss some issues.
Yeah.
So I was going like, maybe he finally gets it right. Maybe if he just wrote Superman, he'll get it right. And I really like this. It's bringing back pre-New 52 Superman, taking the place of New 52 Superman, because New 52 Superman died.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a shock to me.
And they're just bringing it back, saying like he's dead, because pre-New 52 he knows like I died by Doomsday, but I came back. So this New 52 one can come back. We just need to put him in the same thing they put me in. So we'll like he has ashes. Like New 52 Superman is ashes, not a body anymore. So they grabbed the ashes, brought him to the Fortress of Solitude, and they found out like that machine doesn't exist on this Earth. So New 52 Superman is dead.
Okay. Oh, so it's like New 52 canon.
Superman is dead. And the Superman that's gonna be in from now on is gonna be the pre-New 52.
Okay. I definitely did enjoy pre-New 52.
Yeah,
Superman.
And like there's some issues with New 52 Superman that I did enjoy, but it wasn't like. I think that's the one thing people complain about. This isn't our Superman.
It was
Yeah, like it's not our Superman, so like it's like I'm glad they're bringing back the one that everyone relates to. It's like pre-New 52, and the way they brought him in is like saying like there's this one panel. It's really great. If you look in pre-New 52, it always had like Jor-El and his wife holding like the planet, and it's like we're always reminding Superman that my parents died for me to be here.
Yeah.
In New 52, he has that, but he also has Jonathan and Martha Kent holding a planet too, saying like I honor both my parents. So I was like, that's actually great, and like that's what pre-New 52 is like. I never really thought of honoring both of them. I just honored my Kryptonian side mostly.
Yeah.
So like he then like at the end he makes a sculpture of New 52 Superman saying I'm gonna honor all three of you. I was like that's actually
I like that.
I was like that's how the issue ends. It's like I'm gonna honor all of you. I'm like that's a Superman thing. I remember everyone. So I was like I can't wait to read Superman 1. I think that's the first time I'm gonna say that in a while.
Okay.
I'm like I can't wait to read Superman books because I'm kind of picky on my Superman.
Yeah, same.
But like I cannot wait to read issue 1 Superman.
So like what kind of what rating out of 5 would you give this?
I probably would give it a 4 out of 5 also.
Also?
Yeah, right. I think like I haven't read the Batman one yet, so when I read it, I can't wait to compare. But
boy.
I think the Superman one holds up.
Okay, so
the last book you read was?
Yeah, lastly, I finished Green Lantern Rebirth, and I have to say, this was great. I have to admit, I haven't read much of Green Lantern. Like literally, like most of what I know from Green Lantern is the really bad Ryan Reynolds film. But I remember a year ago, I had heard a story about a Muslim Green Lantern, Simon Baz, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find this. But I could never find it in my local library. Some of the comic book stores that I went to in my area, didn't have it because it was older and apparently not as popular, which surprised me. So seeing him on the cover of Rebirth threw me off guard, but at the same time I was really hyped because he was this character that was so different, so vastly different from a lot of what I saw growing up in the comic book world, that as soon as I saw this cover I was like, yeah, I'm reading this. Fuck you, Sanchez, this is mine. And definitely something that I really enjoyed, even though this is my first time opening up a Green Lantern book.
we're gonna get this more into DC Rebirth, the actual comic, but like these are supposed to be like beginner friendly. This is supposed to like introduce to a new audience who hasn't read comics, but also bring back people who used to read comics back into it. So like we'll get into DC Rebirth, but do you think like anyone, if they never read a comic, could you give Green Lantern Rebirth to them? Because I feel like Batman and Superman is easy to give them because they know it.
I feel like yeah, because Batman and Superman, everyone knows Batman and Superman, but like a lot of times, especially people our age, if you ask them Green Lantern, they're gonna think, oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Like,
I think most of them think of a Jon Stewart because of the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah, probably, but I've actually met a lot of people who haven't watched that, who didn't watch that growing up. But this is definitely, it has a good, the story for an intro is actually really good. It's strong and it's solid, and I really love you're introduced to someone who was previously in the series, as it turns out, but they weren't part of the Green Lantern Corps. She was pretty vital to the story, but she's now part of the Green Lantern Corps, and it's I find it funny they're getting put in this situation where they don't like each other, but they kind of have to work together to do their job. And I think it's great. I think it's going to be a great story.
Basically, it's like a 80s buddy cop movie. Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, Simon Baz is the guy that's like, I don't have a partner. But I probably shouldn't be saying this, but for a starter, for a first, I would definitely give it a 5.
5 out of 5?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, like it's co-written by Jeff Johns also, and Jeff Johns, like I feel like he loves 2 characters the most out of everyone, and that's Flash characters and Green Lantern characters. So like I feel like those characters usually get most of his love.
Yeah.
And he probably puts as much work as he does to any other book.
Yeah, that was the difference. That was the difference between some things by John that I read that weren't Lantern related, like because they felt like there was like a sort of like nostalgia to this.
Yeah. Because like the last thing that I liked that Jeff Johns did that wasn't Green Lantern or Flash was his Aquaman run. Like, I love his Aquaman run. It's amazing. He made Aquaman legit again in people's eyes. Because people, when you say Aquaman, you think of, like, Super Friends Aquaman.
Oh, man.
And, like, no one knows, like, Aquaman's a badass. You just, like, have to read some of these stories. And, like, when people say, I don't know about Aquaman, like, you have to read Jeff Johns' run. You have to read Throne of Atlantis, which crosses over with Justice League. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
So, like, what do you think of the first one-shot Rebirth so far? Like, do you think, like, they're hitting their mark?
I'm really optimistic about them. I'm super optimistic that they are definitely going to be giving us, like, something to look forward to as fans and something to keep reading as time comes on. And I sincerely hope that, like, this Rebirth, like, certain aspects of it, especially, like, when we get to talking about the actual, like, long series of the DC Universe Rebirth in general, I sincerely hope that some of the good things that I've seen so far in it can definitely stick. Like, and if there's anything bad, then I'll take the punches as they come. So, time for like the main comic review. This is the thing that I got you started to read, and that's DC Universe Rebirth #1. Yeah.
This got me back into comics now. Like, I'm fully into comics again.
Yes.
And oh man, this is a fantastic book. This is probably gonna be something I'm gonna be passing on to friends from now on, if they really want to see what a DC story can be like. Yeah,
like I know that there's always that like Marvel versus DC, like kind of like, oh well, this group does it better than this group, but like I think this is actually one of those things where both in story and in artwork, like DC, like this just surpassed everything that I've read in a while.
I love Jeff Johns, like I said before. Like, he got me into Aquaman. I like his Justice League run. His last Justice League story he did was Darkseid War, which was actually pretty good. Yeah. Very, like, huge. Like, I feel like 10 issues still wasn't enough to try to get the scope of it. But, like, leading from Justice League War, because Justice League War 50 actually has a direct tie-in to Rebirth. So, like, you find out that Owlman has control of the Mobius chair now. And, like, him and Metron just, like, thinking what to do. And then they see someone like, oh, he's here, too. and then they just die, and they're like, well, who can kill them like that quickly? And after you read Rebirth, you're like, oh, it was...
When I was reading Rebirth, I was like, okay, yeah, there was definitely an emphasis that everyone was in danger to a certain extent. And then, when they got to that part...
Okay, so let's build up to it just like how they build it up. So, like, I first thought it was Barry Allen going to be telling the story.
Yeah.
Because when it keeps talking about time, I just keep thinking Barry Allen. And they're talking about, like, speed and all that. I was like, okay, this is Barry Allen telling the story. This is another Barry Allen story. I'm okay with that. But then when you see it's Wally West, I was like, they brought back Wally. This is the one thing fans have been wanting from New 52. Is like, when's Wally? Where's Wally? And, like, they did introduce a Wally West in New 52, but it's not the Wally West.
Yeah.
And they play it up on Rebirth saying, like, well, there's two Wally Wests.
There's two of them now. And it's... I definitely loved... how they kept them similar in certain ways, but different.
Yeah. And I like how he kept building up Wally's relationship to every hero.
Yeah.
It starts off with Bruce. Because he knows, like, if this is a mystery, I gotta go to the one detective that can solve every mystery no matter what. And, like, he was telling Bruce, like, look at the letter you got from your father. This doesn't make sense. How did you get this letter if your father died? So, like, he was telling, like, there's someone's messing around with time. And then you go to... Did you know who Johnny Thunder was? When you first... The old man?
When they said his name was when I was like...
I didn't know who it was. I'm like, who is this?
Whoa!
And then, like, I had to go back and, like, oh, Johnny Thunder, the pen. I was like, okay, I think I know who this is now. I was going, man, this is, like, a really obscure reference.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is Jeff Johns. He sometimes likes bringing back the old characters he grew up on with to the new story. So I'm like, okay, so it looks like you're bringing back Justice Society of America, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely handle this. Like, this is going somewhere.
And, like, then we get to Ray Palmer. And, like, I can't wait. There's no Atom comic announced so far. So I want to know where they're playing that story of, like, the Palmerverse, like, the microverse.
Yeah, the microverse.
I want to know where, like, okay, there's no Atom comic so far, so, like, are you going to be telling this in a Justice League story? Is this going to be tying into Justice Society?
I feel like it may tie into Justice Society, or it may... It would kind of suck if it was just for the universe Rebirth only, but with the way that they're going with it, I would be okay with it either.
So, like, I'm glad we're getting Atom. We're getting two Atoms, because Ray's getting a costume now. Ray and the other guy. And also, I love the Aquaman and Mara and Green Arrow and Black Canary saying, like, the one thing that was missing for New 52 is love.
Yes.
Like, everything, like, love is what drives us together. And I was like, that's beautiful. I love seeing, like, Aquaman's marrying Mara and you're building up the relationship between Black Canary and Green Arrow again. I'm like, I just love that. I'm like, that's just the sappy parts of comics that I really love. I love seeing when the characters get together and it's, like, something that's supposed to be.
I feel like one of the things that we forget is that a lot of these characters, like a lot of these characters at the end of the day, they're still human beings, which is why, like, I guess from even from the pessimist point of view, like, love is a driving force behind almost a lot of the things that we do, and I feel like superheroes are absolutely not an exception.
Yeah. So, like, I'm glad, like, Jeff Johns just, like, grabbing everything from the past and bringing it back to the present. And that's what Rebirth is. It's kind of almost like an apology saying, like, I know we kind of screwed up on New 52 a bit, but we're trying to bring everything from the past that you love and actually put it in there. So, like, we're getting Aquaman and Mara being married. We're getting Black Canary and Green Arrow being together. We're getting two Atoms, two Blue Beetles. We're getting Dr. Fate. I mean, like, we're just getting all these influx of characters that we love returning again. Like, I cannot wait. We're getting Legion of Superheroes, which is, like, that's what the ring is. It's the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, when I saw the ring, I was very shocked. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, wait a minute, is that really? I still was kind of in a bit of a denial, but I'm glad that you confirmed that.
Yeah, so I'm just like, and, like, another thing they're teasing at, we're getting Nightwing, Blue back.
Yes.
We're getting Damian Wayne leading the Teen Titans, which
man.
I cannot wait.
When I saw the birthday cake, and I just saw like this kid, this little like scrawny kid in a cape, and then I saw that smile, and I was like, oh boy, we're at it.
I cannot wait. The reason why he's taking over Teen Titans because like Tim Drake is going to Detective Comics.
Yes.
And Dick Grayson's going to be in Titans and Nightwing, so there's no one leading the Teen Titans. So like Damian's like, oh well, it's my time. So I cannot wait. Like I love Damian Wayne now.
It's definitely gonna be different.
So like I can't wait for Teen Titans. I can't wait for all these books. But like
yeah, it's been a while since I can honestly say that there have been not only one series, but a collection of series where I'm really excited for everything that's being provided for us.
That was like, it makes me feel like when I first got into comics, because when I got into comics, I would just read Batman, and I was like, oh, there's this Batman and Robin book, I'll check that out. Oh, there's Justice League, I'll check that out. Maybe I'll check all the other Justice League books out as well. And then I just kept getting books, and I was like, after that, I was like, okay, these are the books I like a lot, these are the books that are, so I'll cut these out of my pull list. I feel like I'm back to that start point. Like, these are all the books I want to read. Yeah. And then I'll see which ones don't cut it out.
Yeah.
So, like, they tease John Constantine and Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is one of my favorites, too.
Swamp Thing, I don't know. Like, he warmed up to me. I wasn't really digging him at first. But yeah, he definitely warmed up to me. And, like, it was good to see him. It was one of those things where it was, like, good to see you back. Like, especially... And I know people have been definitely... practically begging for Constantine. Like, so it was nice to in some way to see him back. Hopefully they'll keep him around and maybe kind of have him like in like more art where we can see him.
Yeah. And so the big point of this story is the Flash.
Oh yeah.
Both Kid Flash and regular Flash. And like Jeff Johns, I like his Batman. He wrote like Batman Earth 1, which is I like that a lot. He wrote Justice League, Aquaman. He wrote a lot of books, but I think his biggest strength has always been with the Flash. He may have become like a superstar with Green Lantern, but I always felt like Flash, that's his character now.
Yeah, it's his niche. Like
I felt like that's his character, and like the way he kept building up like Wally having to accept that maybe it's time for me to leave. I was like, that's just like building and building. Like here are your friends who don't recognize you. And then, like, the Linda one was like, Linda doesn't recognize you anymore. And I was like,
damn.
I was like, the conversation he was having with her was perfect. The art and conversation were absolutely perfect. Saying, you and me helped each other out.
There's one panel, like the panel where, like, he's fading. And he's, like, practically begging her to take his hand. I was like, shit. Like, I wasn't ready for this.
So, like, I was building up. Then he's, like, saying, maybe it is time for me to go.
Yeah.
I'm getting pulled to one person lastly, and that's Barry Allen.
And he was just saying his goodbye.
He was saying his thank you. He was like, thank you for being my hero. I was like, oh.
Don't do this, man.
And, like, the thing that always got me was, like, when he said, like, every second was a gift. I was like, oh. Like, I always wanted, like, tattoos of, like, DC Comics. And, like, one of them is definitely going to be, like, the Flash symbol. It's going to have every second is a gift.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, a lot of times we don't really realize it, but superheroes definitely sometimes will give us, like, life, like, messages, or I don't know how you would call it. Like
lessons and...
Life lessons, yeah, that's what I meant. Like, life lessons with with, like, their mottos and, like, the way that they, like, carry their work. And every second is a gift is definitely something that I feel like people would look into and like be like, yeah, that's something that is definitely prominent.
And I love the build up when Barry finally remembers him and he grabs him out and they build up that hug. I was like, that's when I lost. I was just crying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did tear up a little bit because I was just like, shit, man. I thought we were about to lose this kid. Like, he had to like that is I know that that's like many people's worst fears, that like one day like everyone that they know, they either like they lose people that they know and they love, and having them forget you, having the people that you love and have been around and call like friends and family, that's having them forget you is just the same as losing them.
Yeah. So like they build up So, like, Wally's now back. There's 2 Wally Wests. And he's not going to interfere with the other Wally, but he's going to be trying to figure out who caused all this. Because what we learn is someone... It wasn't just Flash doing the Flashpoint that changed everything.
Someone was deliberately doing it.
Someone was deliberately, like, messing with their time and took away 10 years. And, like, when no one realized what the importance of that 10 years is, like, it's been 5 years since the New 52 launch. But it's also, in the New 52, it takes the first issues of everything minus the first Justice League issues take place 5 years after their continuity reboots.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying someone took 10 years, like, those are 10 years of stories that were, like, messed around.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys should be, like, maybe 20 years ahead of what you're doing instead of just 10.
Yeah, like, there's, like, important things that, like, they don't remember. Just, not even just Wally West.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, important things that they can't recall and stuff like that.
So, like Wally's telling Barry, like, I feel like there's something out there, something that's watching us. I was like, that's, like, when you say that out loud, like, oh, who can that be? But when you put the art of Batman digging out a pin out of his Batcave, and when he says someone's watching us, and right there you get the Watchmen pin. I literally flipped. I was like, you're bringing in the Watchmen to DC.
I was like, what the fuck? Like...
So I was just going crazy. The reason why the pin was in there, it took me listening to a reviewer and then to reread the book again. Like, when Wally's leaving the Batcave, he says, like, I'm being teared apart, as if something's also breaking through. Like, the pin launches out of the Speed Force and embeds itself into the Batcave when he's coming out of it. Like, it's something, like, not many people see it, and I had to, like, have someone say it to me in order for me to go, oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm definitely going to have to look at that one more time.
So, what we're finding out is the main... I wouldn't call him an antagonist, because we don't know if he's really going to play villain or just, like, an opposition.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan. That would... I don't know how I would feel about that. Like I...
Because I like the end dialogue, because it's ripped out straight from Watchmen, saying, like, did I do the right thing? Like,
yes.
I like everything. I ended it all. It's like, ended, like, Adrian, nothing ever ends. So I was like, that's a great way to start building up to this massive storyline. I hope it's a massive storyline. And I don't know who's going to be doing it, because, like, obviously Jeff Johns, he has more responsibilities now.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
He's going to be, like, heading over to DC Films and trying to balance everything out. And, like, I'm glad Rebirth came out after he announced that, because, like, people were doubting him. Like, this is what he's doing in comics. I want to know, like, what kind of influence. If he has as much
if you
influence,
put that much influence into
the films. I'm like, I cannot wait to see what the film, because he has nothing to do with. He kind of has a little bit with Suicide Squad. Like, the last act. Apparently, he has to, like, oversee the reshoots.
Okay.
But Wonder Woman, he has nothing to do with that. Like, as the position that he has now, because that already finished wrapping filming.
Okay.
Before he even got announced as, like, new producer and head of DC Films.
But he's doing Batman, right?
He's doing Batman. That was before even he got announced as that. He was going to be a writer and an overseer. Now it looks like he's definitely more of an overseer than was before. Yeah. And Justice League, I don't know if they're, like, switching it up while he's doing Justice League, because it already started filming before they switch it up. So I don't know if, like, he has a bigger hand in it than he would have before.
I wouldn't be surprised if they...
But, like...
At least go to him for advice on, like...
The movies after that, it's going to be Flash and Aquaman. And now, you know for sure he has a bigger hand in that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for Aquaman. Not just because of his hand, because the director is... He just directed the last Fast and Furious. Shit, man.
Like, I know who you're talking about, but, like,
he, like, directed the first Saw.
Yeah, his name always escapes me. And he, even with films like Saw and Fast and Furious, like, he is the type of guy that I would consider a visionary, because a lot of the things that he has directed have been really well done for the story that it carries and stuff like that. Because, like, when he directed Saw, it's not... When Saw came out, there was no other movie like that.
Yeah.
In American film industry, like, at that time, which is why it was so big. But, like, I definitely... Going back to, like, Rebirth before we, like, completely lose track, mm-hmm. I definitely what is reestablished like my what reestablished my like faith in this storyline and all that was that in this Rebirth was the fact that there was from the get-go there was kind of like there was so much mystery, especially when Clark is out and about just kind of like doing his own thing, and then like you see someone who might also be an antagonist but may not necessarily be the villain, but you don't even know if they're friend or foe, and you're just like they're there and then they're not there, and you're just like, oh, this is really freaky.
So like I can't wait to know. I don't know, like they're not continuing like Rebirth as a title itself. It's just like the beginning.
Yeah.
So like Jeff Johns has said like this story will play out years to come, so it's not going to be addressed right away, which I'm okay with. Like I don't feel like he should start that already.
I mean,
like,
for $2.99, I'm definitely willing to wait the lawn con.
Yeah.
Like.
So like I thought this last night. Like Greg Capullo, who did the Batman run with Scott Snyder.
Yes.
Like he's not there anymore because he's doing something with Mark Miller, a project that he keeps getting asked, "Do you want to do this project?" Okay, I'll take time off. I'll do this project with you, and then I'll come back to DC. And like Snyder said, like when Capullo comes back, we're gonna be doing a big project. And I was like, okay, so something big with Batman again. He's like, it's not gonna be just a Batman project. I'm like, what kind of project is this then? And he's like, it's gonna be something that has to do with like DC as a whole. I'm like, now like yesterday everything clicked. I'm like, are you gonna be handling the Dr. Manhattan story?
Oh man.
Because if you do, like Snyder and Capullo handling that, I am definitely all in.
Yeah. Say what you want about Snyder and like, you know, everything that happened with Batman versus Superman.
Oh no, like,
like,
Scott Snyder I'm talking about, not Zack Snyder.
Oh, okay. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like definitely they're really talented.
Yeah.
And so
like if there's always that one book I always went to my polls and grabbed right away, and it's the Batman book, because I like Snyder's writing and I definitely love Capullo's art.
yeah.
So like I can't wait to see what you guys. It's not confirmed they're gonna be working on that, but that's my guess. If you're saying it's gonna be a big DC thing after what happened with Rebirth, that's gonna be my guess.
Yeah, because Dr. Manhattan, like, he even I feel like for anyone that's read Watchmen, even if it didn't like even if it didn't kind of like stick with you, like everything that we've read is, I know as comic book fans, even if we didn't like it, there were things that kind of stuck with us. Mm-hmm. And I think for almost every single fan, you don't forget Dr. Manhattan.
No.
Oh no. Like,
so like I can't wait to see what they do with all this, and I can't wait for the other. Every week there's one-shot rebirths coming out, so I think next week is Wonder Woman, and it has Greg Rucka, which I said earlier. Ooh. He's my favorite Punisher run, and I haven't read his Wonder Woman run from the past, but I hear some of the best stories ever. So like I can't wait.
It is considered some of the best. Like it is really good.
So like I can't wait to. I'm probably gonna go back and read them now, but I can't wait to see what he brings back to Wonder Woman, because like after the Azarella run, it kind of dipped.
Yes. Like
the new creative team wasn't my favorite. And like I love the Azarella run. I love the art for Azarella's run too. Cliff Chang's art was amazing. So like I wish he kept going the entire 52 issues, but I guess like your story was done, I guess. And you didn't want to say any more, so I'm fine. So I can't wait to see what like Wonder Woman looks like, or the other books. Like I can't wait to see
at the end of Rebirth, they show the covers for every one of the new series. At least when they're going to come out in volume form. Mm-hmm. And Wonder Woman seems to be really young.
Well, like the thing they're doing with Wonder Woman is like the way he said, like some of these issues are coming as bi-monthly now.
Bi-monthly, okay.
So it's gonna be like 2 issues every month. Some of them, not all of them. And what they're doing with Wonder Woman is like the beginning of the month issue is gonna have her origin story. And the end of the month issue is going to have present day. So it's going to switch back and forth.
Okay.
So you're going to get her origin and current story at the same time.
That's interesting.
So that's why she looks young, because that's her origin story.
Yeah, because in the cover for that, she looked like a teenager. Yeah. Which was why I was like, oh wow, we're starting really young.
So he's going to be telling her origin story, like when she met Steve Trevor for the first time, and then doing all that. And also that same time he's doing the story, it's going to be another story of what's happening current day. So you see her beginning and her current, and each issue is gonna have different artists. So you see like the bright one for her past, and you're gonna see something a little bit darker for her present, because obviously she's seen some things.
Oh yeah, she's seen things.
So like, I can't wait to read it. Again, like I'm a huge fan of Greg Rucka right now, so anything his name's on it too, I'll probably start reading.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for all these new things that are coming out.
So, DC Rebirth, 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah,
it's 5.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I probably sound like some starry-eyed like really optimistic person, but I usually am super picky with comics.
Yeah.
Maybe,
no, I am too. Like,
and there was a weird sense of hope reading this.
like that's what Jeff Johns keeps saying. Like he kept pitching the book like this book's gonna represent hope and optimism.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, are you just like saying this, or is it really gonna happen? And like, oh, he wasn't just saying like that's how it was. And like, Jeff Johns is a man of word. He keeps saying too, like, if you didn't like it, I'll give you back your $3. I'm like, wow, man, that's a lot of confidence. So like, obviously he could back it up. I mean,
he kept, in my opinion, he kept true to his word. I definitely want more.
It's a shame like he's not writing that many books now.
Yeah.
Like he's still gonna be doing the Batman Earth ones, but he's like, again, more responsibilities now. So hopefully, like when he finally finds the balance on working on the film side, maybe he can come back to comics and give us one more good story.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye on when that happens.
So DC Universe Rebirth, 5 out of 5, and now on to the final aspect of the show is a superhero film flashback. I chose the first film because it's the first film I saw when I was a kid. It's Batman 1989, the Tim Burton Batman.
Oh man.
You just said you just recently saw it, so
it was my second time ever seeing it, and everyone talks about it, and everyone I saw it when I was younger, so I didn't have as much of a clear memory of how it was. But one thing that I always remembered that you pointed out as well was that critics called it the darkest Batman movie of its time period. Mm-hmm. And I guess that makes sense because you had to compare it. You didn't really have material such as the Dark Knight series to compare it to. And you literally had to compare it with Adam West's Batman and Robin, which was super campy.
Like, the only thing you had to compare is Adam West Batman and Superman Chris Reeves.
Yeah.
So, obviously it was darker than both of them.
Oh, yeah.
But, compared to now, it's not really dark.
Yeah, watching it now, it's almost, I don't want to say campy, but...
It does have some elements of camp.
It definitely shows its 80s roots.
But it's still a good movie. I still like watching it now and then.
I feel like, and I know this is kind of dangerous to say, I feel like Jack Nicholson is the truest to the Joker that we, at least he's the truest to the comic books.
Yeah. Joker
that we've seen in movies so far. I mean, I don't know how Jared Leto is going to go.
Yeah.
But so far we've had the methodical anarchist in Heath Ledger, and even though that by acting and performance raised the bar, I don't know, there was something about Jack Nicholson and there was a method to his madness that definitely fit the Joker. And even though when you're watching it you kind of laugh at how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. He takes down the Batplane with one gun.
He takes down the Batplane with a gun. This guy's dangerous. And, I feel like because of how over the top and ridiculous he is, because of the fact that we're an observer, we really downplay it in our minds. But, if you're in Gotham and all this is happening, I would probably be running away.
Well, 1989 Batman, even though it's, not my favorite Batman anymore, it still holds a place in my heart because it's the first Batman movie I've seen. I still remember everything from it, from the Bat car to the Batplane to all the jokes the Joker made. It's still something that I can look back and still have fun with it. And it's, even though it's not dark now, it's still kind of dark, some parts of it.
Have you ever danced with the devil in a pale moon? That part always freaks me out. Even when especially when you're in the flashback scene. because the voice is all distorted and all that, and you're like, oh my god, like.
But that's the one thing I don't like about it is tying the Joker's origin with Batman's origin. That's probably the only thing I don't really like.
I didn't like it either, but for the time, because one thing that people always stress, especially when you're reading like DC, like Batman, like anthology books and stuff like that, one thing that they always stress is that the Joker is like. Joker and Batman complete each other in like this weird and sick like yin yang sort of thing, and like the Joker is the counterpart, the opposite of what Batman would have done with his power, with his responsibility over Gotham City. Like he chose to give order while Joker chose, and I feel like that would have been a way to kind of tie it together. But I have to admit though, some of the... I forgot how strange, like, dynamics between, like, men and women in the 80s were. And it definitely shows with Knox and Vicky Vale. Like, because she's trying to do her job, and he's all like... So, and he's trying to be a good friend, too. Like don't go after Bruce Wayne. The guy's a schmuck. Like... But, like, at the same time, you kind of get this vibe that, like, he wants her for himself, too. And it's like, all right, slow your roll, bro. You met her, like, 3 days ago. Like...
But, like, I guess we are kind of doing these kind of reviews. Out of 5, what would you give Batman? I give it a 4. It's not perfect, same. But, like, it's still, like, better than most other superhero movies.
It's definitely what we would call nowadays campy, because especially when you think about like the movies that we had growing up, like, but when you think about like what it has, Michael Keaton plays an excellent Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. Well, not close to Val Kilmer, but Val Kilmer will always be my favorite. But him as Batman always makes me laugh, especially like when they do the close-ups of his face. I just want to make memes of Michael Keaton's face in the Bat mask. I feel like it was too tight for him or something like that, because he'll always have like his lips puckered and just like...
But I love Batman, and like to start off like comic book movies again with Batman was probably the right choice.
Probably.
So one last thing, recommendation to everyone listening. If you want to know what Rebirth has like to like build upon from, I highly recommend Flashpoint. It's probably like one of the best Jeff Johns stories. I don't know. I need to read Flashpoint again to see like how like I want to read Flashpoint and then go straight to Rebirth to see how it fits. But like if you want to know like what Rebirth builds upon, I recommend Flashpoint. Like I highly recommend Flashpoint.
Yeah. Definitely check out Rebirth. It's even if you're not even into like DC stuff, it is really, really great.
And for $2.99, it's kind of like
$2.99.
$2.99 for an 80-page book. It's kind of a steal right there.
That's literally buying like 3 things from the dollar store. You get a book for like.
So yeah, check out DC Rebirth, local comic shops. Comixology always has it. You can't run out of stock on digital comics.
Yeah, you can't.
So, hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much.
My name's John Sanchez.
And I'm Nicole Augusto.
And come back next week.
All right, see ya.